Hello again, everybody. David Clary, Lee Wexler, along with Oliver Poggle and Preston Fetters. We are live at Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett High School getting set for game number 2. The Wildcats dropping a 3-2 ball game in 8 innings on a catcher's interference call to the Dobbins-Bennett Indians. And now they're going to play game 2 against our friends from Ohio, from Elder High School, the Panthers. And you've got the starting lineups, Lee Wexler, for this ball game today, the second game of the day.
Thanks a lot, David. Starting lineup for Oak Ridge, leading off in center field, Warren East, batting second in left, Parker Free, batting third at third base, Mikey Teasley, batting fourth, the DH, Joe Webb, batting fifth in right field, Carson Fagan, batting sixth at first base is Cam Welch. At shortstop, batting seventh, Jaden Cheverton. Batting eighth and catching, and I should have gone over this with David before I started reading the starting lineups. David, you may have to help me on this name. Max Derigi, thank you. We should have went over that before I started reading. And batting ninth at second base is Jonah Wolf. I'll go ahead and relay the starting lineup for Elder, Ohio. I believe they just said their name was the Panthers, as they have brought a big crowd here from Cincinnati. Leading off the designated hitter, Dylan Wollenweber. Batting second at second base, Jack Rosenacker. Batting third at third base, Jared Lammers. Batting fourth and catching, Carson Smith. Batting fifth at first base, Tucker Veldos. Batting sixth in left field, Justin Massa. Batting seventh in center field, Mason Chumbley. Batting eighth in right field, Ryan Smith. Batting ninth at shortstop, Roger Waddle. Pitching for Elder is a man named Brady Andriaco. David, I think I failed to mention the starting pitcher for Oak Ridge, and that'll be Jackson Gary.
Thanks a lot. He's warming up. He's a left-hander, and we're about to have baseball for you. Hopefully my voice will last. I had to do a lot of radio in the first game. Won't have to talk quite as much. We don't have our normal right behind the plate camera that we normally do. The way the station is, or the stadium is situated, we just can't do it, honestly. But we do have 3 cameras running. We will switch from cameras. We just can't get directly behind the plate like we normally do. Here's the long throw down by Max, and we are about to get underway once again from Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett. The crowd has thinned out considerably. Still a lot of Oak Ridge fans. Elder brought a lot of fans as well from Cincinnati, Ohio. And we're about to have baseball for you here from Dobbins-Bennett. The Wildcats losing the first game 3-2 on a catcher's interference call. And Lee and I will talk about that at some point during the course of the game. Leadoff man steps in. He's a left-hander against the left-handed throwing Jackson Gary, and we are about to get set game number 2 here from Kingsport. And the first pitch of the game is a called strike of the knees, and we are underway with the doubleheader here against our friends from Ohio. That ball's ripped foul down the right field line. Check what Jackson has done. And I know he has pitched several starting games for the Wildcats. He's ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Looks like they're not running the scoreboard. Now they go. I think it's no balls and 2 strikes. The pitch, cut on a miss. And that's an out. Max is going to have to throw him out, and he does. And that is out number 1. Appreciate our sponsors for our broadcasts. Laurel and Green with State Farm Insurance, the class of 1989, Sexton Automotive of Oak Ridge, Donnie Sharp with East Tennessee Spine and Sport, Todd Fox with the Fox Insurance Group, the Fagan family, and several other donors. That pitch is cut on and missed.
Jackson looks to be 4-0 on the year.
Yeah, he has started some ball games for the Wildcats. He's a young guy, not very big. He throws strikes. And he had that win. I think he was the winning pitcher against Shades Valley. Check that game out. I don't know. I think he started, and that was the game where Oak Ridge scored 19 runs in the first inning. Here's the pitch, cut on and missed. whatever Jackson is throwing, they're not seeing. He swings through it, and the count is 1-2. 1 out, nobody aboard, just underway. We're in the first inning here from Dobyns-Bennett of the second game. That pitch way outside. Defensively, Mikey Teasley is the third baseman. The shortstop, check some of these numbers, make sure. We got a different kind of a lineup than we're accustomed to seeing. Pitch to the plate. That's a little bit high. I'll let you run through the defensive. I don't have the lineup in front of me, and Lee is working on something as we speak. I'll get the defensive alignment for the Wildcats. Three-two pitch.
And fly ball to right, and that'll be the second out as David's going to get a sip of water. This will be the three-hole hitter playing third base, Jared Lammers. Quick first 2 outs for Jackson Gary. David, are you okay?
Yeah, once again, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. I got a little choked up a little bit. That first game took a lot out of me. There's a line drive caught at first base, and that is out number 3. The ball was hit hard, but out. We go to the bottom half of the inning here at Dobyns-Bennett High School. Wildcats coming to bat. Lee, let's talk about the first ball game. The Wildcats were defeated 3-2. That was a game in 8 innings, ended in probably the most bizarre ending that I've ever seen a baseball game in. I was talking to some fans earlier about honestly, the great thing about the game of baseball is you see so many different things happen, honestly. And that one ended in catcher's interference back-to-back. With the bases loaded, the run came in and scored, and Dobyns-Bennett won.
Yeah, to go back there in the 8th inning, Carson Fagan on the mound for Oak Ridge gave up a leadoff double, and then got a quick out. They intentionally walked the 6-hole Caden Cutlip, which made it first and second with 1 out. Then they got another quick second out, so it was runners at first and second with 2 outs. The 8-hole hitter Jalen Thomas kind of swung at a pitch, and I really didn't see it. They called catcher's interference, which, unfortunately happens here and there. Well, that loaded the bases as the game was tied 2-2 in the 8th inning, and the 9-hole hitter, I guess who they had pinch hit for, comes in a lefty, and first swing fouls the pitch straight back, and they call catcher's interference again. I've never seen catcher's interference called twice in a game. I've never seen it called back-to-back like that. So I don't know if we'll ever get to talk with Coach Free or Parker about that. That was an incredibly bizarre ending, and I think Coach Free and Parker were absolutely right to be irate with that. I mean, all of a sudden that your catcher's going to commit 2 catcher's interference calls. Incredibly bizarre. I guess you're glad you get to turn around and play again.
So Warren East leads things off. I'm trying to recover my voice here. Something flew up my esophagus. Warren East leads things off. Warren had a hit in the first ball game. What a dramatic ball game. Parker Free hit a home run to tie the ball game with 2 outs in the 7th inning to send it to extra innings, but unfortunately just ended the way it did. Warren takes the ball, 1 ball, no strikes.
Pitcher for Elder, David, is a man named Brady Andriaco.
Andriaco drops him 1 for a strike, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Got another game tomorrow at 10 a.m. as Warren hits the ball over the pitcher's head. Right behind the bag, shortstop fields it, and Warren East is aboard safely with an infield hit. Ball just bounced over the pitcher. The shortstop fielded it right behind the bag. As you can see, we're not doing radio again. We did radio in the first game, and that is the infield single for Warren East, and here comes Parker Free. Parker, I think, is playing the outfield.
Yeah, he's playing left field today, or here in the second game at least. Parker had 2 hits and a big home run in the 7th inning in the previous game.
Warren with good speed. I would expect him to go early. And not on this pitch. Up high ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Yesterday, Oak Ridge beat Greenville in an 8-4 ball game. Warren takes the lead, 1 ball, no strikes, draws a throw. In the first ball game against Dobbins Bennett, the Wildcats had 2 guys picked off trying to steal, and then they also had a guy doubled off. So that really hurt the Wildcats. The ball is hit the right field, down the line, foul territory, long run, just out of play. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Elder, Ohio, David, brought a good crowd there out of, I don't know what kind of school they are, but it looks like we looked them up. They're out of just outside downtown Cincinnati.
One ball, 1 strike. Warren East, the base runner at first. Leadoff, infield single. Cut on a miss, and Parker swings through it, and the count is 1-2. A very dramatic home run by Parker Free in the 7th inning. But then, at the end, Warren draws a throw, but the catcher's interference, from very high to very low for Parker. And I would expect Parker to go 4 for 4 in this ball game, honestly. Pitch, hit in the center field, caught by the center fielder. Ball's hit hard, but out, and Warren has to return to the bag at first base. Mikey Teasley, the batter. Mikey had kind of a quiet ball game for Mikey, for sure, in the first one.
Yeah, Mikey, 1 for 4, had a strikeout, a flyout, lined out. Remember, he hit that absolute laser to third in the first game, which ended up getting a guy doubled off, and had a single back in the 7th.
Pitch is a ball, throw down the first, and not in time. Mikey back in, 1 ball, no strikes. Warren East, the runner at first base. Pitch to the plate. That's a little high. The umpire says too high. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Oliver Poggle is our video technician today. Our camera guy is Preston Fetters, running all 3 cameras today. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch outside. 3 balls and no strikes. I keep forgetting, so they can see it. I don't have to talk quite as much. As Warren takes the lead, he hasn't really attempted to go. He takes a fairly short lead, especially for Warren. Warren's liable to go, any time. He has the green light, and he leads the team in stolen bases. We're in Kingsport. The sun beginning to set. I think it might be a little cool by the time the sun goes down. As that pitch is a called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. First time we've had Oliver doing a baseball game. We're going to check in with the chat here in a bit. We'd like to know where you're watching us from. 3-1 pitch, and that's ball 4.
This will bring up Joe Webb, who is DHing this game.
Right-handed hitting junior steps in, runners at first and second. 1 out, scoreless ball game here from Dobbins Bennett High School. Joe, first pitch to him is outside the ball. Good velocity from the pitcher, pops the mitt, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. A leadoff infield single by Warren East, and then a walk to Mikey Teasley. And between that, we had an out as the Wildcat Joseph Webb steps back in. The pitch to him. Ooh, that was a good-looking pitch to hit, and he couldn't pull the trigger on it, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. They are the Panthers out of Elder, out of, as Lee said, the Cincinnati area. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe. Checking the runner at second. Here's the pitch. Hit foul. Off to the right and out of play. 1-2 the count. 1 out here at Dobbins Bennett. We are. Tomorrow we'll be in Johnson City as the Wildcats, I believe, take on the Jefferson County Patriots. 10 a.m. will be the broadcast time. That means Preston has to get up early. And if anybody knows Preston, will tell you he doesn't like to get up early. So I'm going to count on Oliver to wake him up and get him going. It's going to be an early morning, Lee.
Yeah, he's going to have to get used to getting up early throughout his life.
Well, that's true, but he's only 15, so, I mean, he's got a while. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch, almost grazed his shoulder. We got a full count now. Got 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. The Wildcats, the home team, got to stay in the same dugout after the Dobbins-Bennett ball game. We'll recap that a little bit further. We'll talk about that catcher's interference. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, the bases are loaded. And Carson Fagan will come to the plate. Yeah, the Wildcats lost 3-2 in 8 innings on back-to-back catcher's interference calls. And as Lee and I have been talking about, you just don't see that very often. And it was such a great ball game. I mean, the comeback by the Wildcats, great pitching by Braylon Payne, and, just a lot of good things happened in that game. Good defense by Warren East. Just some really fine ball game to end that way. Just kind of anticlimactic, actually, except if you're a Dobbins-Bennett fan.
Yeah, I know, and it's a good win for Dobbins-Bennett because they probably looked and saw where Oak Ridge was ranked, I guess, this week in the coaches' polls. We got a bases-loaded situation here, back-to-back walks here. We got Carson Fagan, who's playing right field, only 1 out.
Carson takes 1 up high, 1 ball, no strikes.
And this is something Oak Ridge kind of failed to capitalize and do well in the first game. Runners on. In this case, we got less than 2 outs, so couldn't really get that big hit in the first game.
Carson takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. He's around the strike zone. He's throwing hard, but he's just been a little bit high. Carson had a double to the wall in the first ball game. Pitched well, honestly. I mean, he was the losing pitcher in the ball game, but he deserved a better fate. Ball 3 outside. Carson deserved a better fate. I mean, he did allow a couple base runners there, but still, I mean, he pitched well, got a double play to end the 7th inning to get us 2 extra innings, but unfortunately Carson takes the loss. There's a called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, and this is where, the catcher's interference call for me, this is kind of a little bit outside my baseball knowledge. I don't really know how, you really counter score that. It's unfortunate.
Ball's ripped deep to the gap, left center field. The center fielder can't get it. It's going to roll to the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And it'll be a booming double almost exactly in the same spot where Carson had a double in the first ball game, and it's 2-0 Wildcats here in the first inning. Big hit, very similar, almost in the same spot where Carson had his double against Dobbins-Bennett earlier.
Yeah, good hit for Carson right there. Put it out there in left center field. I thought the center fielder for Elder was going to slide over and make the catch. A good hold for the runner at third there. Obviously, they're hitting this guy well so far. This is going to be Cam Welch.
Cam had a base hit in the first ball game. He was the designated hitter and then actually moved to right field at one point during the game. Pitch to him is a called strike at the belt. Cam, one of 5 seniors on this team. As we talked about in the first ball game, I know a lot of people were disappointed we only could do the radio version of the first ball game. Welch back in, the pitch to him. Hit off the end of the bat, just foul. Just having to duck out of the way of it. It was Travis Free, the head coach. I don't know that I've ever seen Coach Free as mad as he was on how that game ended. He came directly to the umpire, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. But he went directly to the umpire and got his say in. The game was over, so he couldn't throw him out of the game. I guess he could toss him out for this game, but he was mad for sure. And, of course, there's no as pitch to Cam is outside. 1-2 the count. As Stephanie Thompson, vice principal at Oak Ridge, said correctly, there's no video evidence to say whether it happened or not, and whether it did or not, that's the call, and you have to live with it. 1-2. Whoa. Oh, I don't know where that one was. That looked good. Inside, maybe low, maybe a little too inside, and Cam Welch has a 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, a little too close to take if you're Cam. And then, of course, going back to the catcher's interference, of course, it's the one game where I don't think we had a camera on it, so we can't even go back and look.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball hit hard Fielded by the shortstop. That's going to score another run. The Wildcats are up now 3-0. In to score comes Joseph Webb, and the Wildcats have put 3 on the board here in the first inning. The batter now will be Jaden Cheverton. 3-0 Wildcats. A lot of offense already against our friends from Ohio.
Number 13, Cheverton.
Jaden steps in. He had a single and an RBI in the first ball game. Knocked in the first run before the Parker Free home run to tie it in the 7th. And he takes one in for a called strike.
I was watching this Elder, Ohio team, David, take a pretty lengthy pregame infield and outfield. They looked like a really solid team warming up, but already down 3-0.
1 strike the count to Jaden. That one's a little bit up high. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Switching our cameras today is Oliver Poggle, and then we've got Preston Fetters up here, Lee Wexler. My name is David Clary. Thanks for tuning us in. 1 strike to Jaden. Still a runner at third. Ball's hit in the air. Shallow infield. The shortstop right in front of his friend, the second baseman, makes the catch for out number 3. But a very productive inning for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge plates 3 runs. They do it on 2 hits. A couple walks were involved. We go to the second inning here at Dobyns-Bennett High School in Kingsport, Tennessee, in a game you're watching on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. It's 3-0 Wildcats. We'll be back in a moment.
Now batting for the Panthers, catcher number 20, Carson Smith.
Welcome back to Kingsport Dobyns-Bennett High School. Wildcats on top 3-0 in the second game of this Tribe Classic here in Kingsport. Wildcats will play tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning in Johnson City. We'll have the broadcast, I think, against Jefferson County. I think we played Jefferson County. I'm trying to remember back here. I think we played Jefferson County fairly early, Lee.
Yeah, it looks like it was an 8-2 victory. Jackson Gary had the win.
1 ball, no strikes. Jackson pitched to left field, hit the left field, and that'll be Parker Free out and left to make the catch for out number 1. He continues to running for a touchdown. As you can see in the outfield, the football field, and I don't know if we can get a shot of it. Maybe we can at some point. Anybody who's ever been to Dobyns-Bennett for a football game, a beautiful stadium to our left, but part of the football field, it's kind of the end zone starts right around just beyond third base and extends all the way to the wall, about 60 yards or so, as I see. Yeah, about 60 yards. One out here in the second, 3-0 Wildcats. Jackson doesn't throw hardly, but he throws strikes. And with the Wildcats' good glove work that we saw, especially in the first game and all season long. Pitching to contact's not a bad thing. It's better than walking a lot of people.
No, it's not. And the key is you want to throw strikes. And, right now so far, he's just kind of peppering the ball in there.
Ball hit on the ground. Shortstop feels it. Throws on the first and dug out nicely by Cam Welch. And that is out number 2. Jaden Cheverton is the shortstop in this ball game. Jonah Wolf is the second baseman. It looks like Cam Welch is playing first. And let's see, the third baseman is Mikey Teasley. Parker Free is the left fielder. Warren East is in center. And the right fielder is that Brooks out in right field. Max DeRiggi behind the plate. And Jackson Gary is the pitcher. Pitch, hit foul over towards the elder. Carson Fagan's in right. Okay. Carson Fagan playing right field. He started in left. Right. And Max DeRiggi is the catcher. No balls and 1 strike. Pitch. Hit well, but well foul. And out of the park, basically. Onto the road. Fort Henry Highway down below us. And Jackson ahead of the count. No balls and 2 strikes. We're on our YouTube channel. We appreciate all of our watchers and listeners that we had early on. We could only put the scoreboard up. Dobbins Bennett does not allow, we'll talk about that, Lee, here in a minute, live streaming. And unfortunately, there's a couple things that we have no video evidence of unless Dobbins Bennett filmed it. And I didn't see anybody from Dobbins Bennett filming. We have no evidence of Parker's home run. We saw it. And we didn't, as there's a foul tipped and DeRiggi takes a hard one. They're going to call the trainer out to look at him. We weren't able to run a camera. They wouldn't even allow us to videotape it for replay, so there was no camera running in the first ball game. Hopefully Max is okay. He went down really quick.
Yeah, he went down immediately. Umpire was signaling for the coaching staff to come out quickly. As a catcher, you take a lot of foul balls. He's sitting up now. I'm sure the coaches seem to be laughing. Obviously, he's not. I can't imagine what he's feeling. I never was a catcher. Everyone's clapping now, but he's standing up, so I think he's going to be okay. But, yeah, Dobbins Bennett, I would have liked to have some video evidence of the 2 catchers' interference calls that, the umpire kind of made. That would have been great to have. But, yeah, we have no video, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's how the Wildcats lost the first game if you just tuned in. We had to do radio, and back-to-back catcher's interference, and the bases were loaded on the last one, and that drove in the winning run in 8 innings, 3-2. We'll recap that game statistically at some point during the game. Great job pitching by Braylon Payne as the ball is hit softly on the infield. One hop to Jonah Wolf, fields it, throws on, and in time for the out. Bang, bang play. And the Elder fans don't believe it. And I don't know myself, honestly, Lee. That was really, really close. I honestly thought with my eyes he was safe.
Yeah, I thought he was honestly safe myself. And we've already kind of seen one of those kind of bang-bang infield plays just like that go in favor of Oak Ridge. Well, that one also goes in favor of Oak Ridge on the defensive side. And the Elder fans who have made the trip down from Cincinnati are barking at the umpire. David, I'm not going to lie. I thought he could have been safe there.
Anybody watching the stream, back it up and tell us what you think. We're going to, in the next half inning, I'm going to go to Oliver Poggle, and he's going to let us know if you're watching the stream. We'd love to know where you are watching from and why you're watching. If you got relatives, the same thing we do every ball game. We just love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you thought of what you think about the season so far. Obviously, Wildcats 25-3-1 on the year. The losses to 2 Upper East Tennessee teams, Johnson City, Science Hill, and the Kingsport Dobbins Bennett. Those are 2 teams the Wildcats, if they were to make it out of the region tournament, if they make it to the region tournament, to a sub-state sectional series, I think they call it now, could be potential opponents again. Last year we played Science Hill in the section. The year before that we played Sevier County. But, Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett, they're all good up here.
Yeah, they are, and that's who you're going to be playing in the sectional series, and that's who you're going to have to beat if you want to go to the state. And, I think the thing that's different this year is, the district. That's going to be what's different this year for Oak Ridge. Now, obviously, having to play Farragut and Hardin Valley and those kind of teams. And David, the Elder fans, they are still barking at the home, first base umpire.
We'll check the chat here in a moment to see if anybody backed it up to see if indeed they thought he was safe. From my vantage point, I thought he was, but I'm a long ways up here, and I actually have a pole right here in front of me.
Well, and a good play by Jonah Wolf there. I mean, that was a tough play. He has to come in and basically feel the ball and immediately let go of it. So good play by Jonah.
I think Max DeRiggi, he is the batter. He's playing catcher today. Max has played a little third base. He's played a little catcher for the Wildcats. He's a first-year player from Guam. Max back in. 2 balls and 1 strike. As I mentioned, he's a first-year player from Guam. Lived his whole life there. Ball hit right up the middle, and that's a base hit. Yeah, the second baseman corrals it, but in the end zone on the football field. But Max, who does, when he gets a chance to play, he usually produces. He usually has been able to get some base hits just like that. He's not a very big guy, and he'll be replaced with a courtesy runner, and it looks like it'll be Andy Hudson will be running. Andy Hudson's mother is Sally Bowers Hudson, just for any Wexlers who might be listening back in Murfreesboro. They might know what that means a little bit more than Lee does. As we've got the right-handed hitter stepping in with nobody out. Wildcats on top. It looks like Jonah Wolf will be the batter. Jonah, a great bunter. Let's see where the third baseman is. He is even. He's going to bunt, and there it is to the pitcher. It's going to be bang, bang. Here's the throw. He makes it. And he is definitely out there. And advances the runner down to second. And there's 1 out now, and back to the top of the order we go to Warren East. Warren had an infield single his first time. Wildcats up 3-0. They scored 3 runs in the first inning. Trying to score here in the second against Elder out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They haven't even turned the lights on yet, have they? It's hard to see. I mean, some of the infield lights, the outfield lights don't look like they're on. It looks dark to me, honestly.
Well, there's one of those, I guess, new specialized lights. They're on. It's just hard to see. I think they're on. It's very weird to see. These are like new lights that a lot of teams are using.
Base hit. Warren East to left field, getting the green light, coming around to score. Here's the throw, and he slides in safely. Does Andy Hudson, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 4-0. A base hit there by Warren, and the Wildcats have scored in the first 2 innings, and the batter now will be Parker Free.
And going back to Max, good to see he was okay. He took that foul ball, I guess we'll say in the midsection. And he got that good hit right at the middle. And, a courtesy runner comes around to score. It's already 4-0. They've already scored. They've already doubled their run total.
From the first ball game. Here's Parker Free. Warren takes the lead off of first. Big lead. He's going on the first pitch. Here's the throw. Good throw, but it scoots away from the shortstop covering, and the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position. 4-0 Wildcats as we play here at Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, 10 a.m. Hope you'll get up with us early to watch the Wildcats play in Johnson City. Then the next week, the Wildcats play Farragut on Monday at Bobby Hopkins in Oak Ridge. Then Wednesday at Farragut. Ball hit on the ground, shortstop, moving the runner over to third, but Parker is out at first for the second out of the inning. And the batter now will be Mikey Teasley.
Yeah, Mikey walked and then scored Oak Ridge's second run back in the first.
Now batting third baseman.
4-0 Wildcats.
Number 3,
Wildcats lost the first game 3-2 in 8 innings. We had to do just radio, as we've mentioned. I know a lot of people come and go on our broadcasts. But we are up here in Kingsport. A little breeze coming through now. Ball hit the right field pretty hard. Right fielder misjudged it, but recovers in time to make the out. The ball was hit hard, but out. But the Wildcats do score another run, and they lead Elder, the Panthers out of Ohio, 4-0. And we'll take a break. We'll be back to Dobbins-Bennett in a moment. Welcome back to Kingsport Dobbins Bennett. The Wildcats on top 4-0 over Elder. Oliver Poggle's handling our chat and our technical work here. Oliver, anybody on the chat?
Yeah, a couple people, David. A lot of people saying good job for the Wildcats. One person said their Dylan Skeen's grandparents can't wait to see him play. They said it was questionable on the call. They said the kid was safe, but they'll take that call. I just want to say it's a great day to be out here. I want to thank David, the rest of the crew.
Thanks a lot, Oliver. Preston Fetters is with us as well. My name is David Clary, as he just called me David, and Lee Wexler is with me as well. We go to the top of the third inning, and Jackson Gary has been staked to a 4-0 lead. As we broadcast here at Dobbins Bennett, you can probably see the football field down on. And if you look from about just most of all of left field and some of center field, the end zone starts right beyond the bag, and then it goes from the home plate area to all the way out to left. You can see the Dobbins Bennett. Let's see if Preston, I don't know if we get a chance, we'll take the camera one off, and I will show the football field and the stadium in a moment. Oliver, if you'll change off of camera one so Preston can turn it to the football stadium to show people how close we are to the football stadium. As a 1-1 strike count. Jackson comes to the plate. That's a little bit low, and the count is 2-1. So the people on the chat honestly thought, is that the football field up on the screen? Yeah, beautiful facility here for football. Just an enormous stadium. And you can switch it off again now, Oliver. That pitch is a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. I do see the lights beginning to illuminate the field, but it's kind of interesting to share with the football field. I remember in the old days, before they had the turf, I'll come back to that in a moment, we'd come up here and there's a called strike, and the count is full. We'd come up here and inevitably it seemed like it always would rain, and the end zone was the dirt part of the field, and it was always muddy. I mean, it was hard to play here when they had real grass. Pitch is hit in the air. On the infield, who wants it? Looks like Jonah's calling for it. Jonah Wolf has got it. He is the second baseman for the Wildcats today, and that is out number 2. 4-0 Wildcats as we play here in the third inning. Lee, I don't know if I remember seeing you covering the Wildcats a year ago. I mean, you've covered the Wildcats, and I was going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a couple questions between innings about the Oak Ridge program and how you've seen it progress since the first time. And I remember something you actually said to me, and it wasn't anything bad, but when you first saw the Wildcats play, and I just want to get your perspective on how they have progressed since those first few games and first few years that you saw Oak Ridge. He's from Murfreesboro, played at Riverdale High School. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, caught on a miss. Who is this?
This is the right fielder, Ryan Smith, and so far for the Oak Ridge pitcher, 7 up, 7 down.
It's Jackson Gary pitching for the Wildcats. Braylon Payne started the first ball game, pitched great. 1-1 pitch, hit off the end of the bat to the net. In fact, all the pitchers in the first game, Jaden Cheverton pitched for the Wildcats. Braylon Payne, Carson Fagan came in to pitch. And Jackson's so far throwing a shutout here. And that pitch is hit foul back to the screen. I was talking to a guy from Elder between ball games, and he had his phone out and he was taking pictures, and he had texted his son who's on the Elder team and said, "Dad, take some pictures when you get here. This place is amazing." And it is. I mean, the money that these people in Kingsport have, I know Eastman puts a lot of money into it. It's the big company up here. Have given them some great facilities. Now, the baseball stadium that we're in, we're under an overhang here. This has been here for a long time. The original part of the stadium over at the football field was built in the 1920s. It's old, but obviously the new part's probably, 15 years old, I would think. About around 15 years old. 2-2 pitch from Jackson, hit on the ground, foul. But Eastman funnels a lot of money. But it is interesting that the football field and the baseball field are shared at the same time.
Yeah, we've done football games here before. It's my first time seeing a baseball game here before, and obviously I've been here for basketball to help you years ago. But I believe their football team, there was a new football region playoff format as the pitcher steps off. We're going to get a little mound visit here. And football, I believe they lost here against Blackman. In football, there was the new kind of football playoff format. So they played a team all the way from Murfreesboro and lost. I want to say maybe in the second or third round right here on this field. But this is one of the more unique setups in high school sports.
We played Science Hill in the first round, so there a lot of traveling was done in the new format. We got a two ball, two strike count. Sophomore Jackson Gary trying to get a second out here, and that pitch is a little low and inside. Ball goes back to the backstop. 4-0 Wildcats as we play here in Kingsport. A long day of baseball. We'll have an early morning game at 10, as I mentioned, tomorrow against the Patriots. Pitch a little bit low, and that's ball 4. And they've got a base runner on in a 4-0 ball game as we play here in the top of the third. On our YouTube channel, sponsored by class of 1989, Chris Corwin. He's was the president, I think, of that class way back in the day, 1989, and he sponsors football, basketball, and baseball with us. But he's also a big supporter of academics and athletics, and wishes other classes besides 89 would do the same. We also have our sponsors, Laura Lynn Green with State Farm Insurance, Todd Fox with the Fox Insurance Group, Sexton Automotive, Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty, and East Tennessee Spine and Sport. Throw over to first and back to the bag. Got a different looking lineup for the Wildcats right now. You got at first base Cam Welch. The second baseman is Jonah Wolf. The shortstop is Jaden Cheverton. Mikey's still at third. Here's the pitch. Here's Max's throw. He's out. Yeah, he is out. Caught stealing. What a great throw by Max. He put it, and I called it before the ball even reached the glove of Jaden Cheverton because it was right on the first base side of the bag, and the tag was applied, and that's a caught stealing. Pitch is ripped to left field, and that's probably a good thing because that's a base hit. The ball kind of rolls to the fence. So that's going to be a mistake. And he's heading towards third. They might have him there. Here's the throw. Not in time. And Wildcats let the ball get past the left fielder and rolled all the way to the fence. And with 2 outs, Elder, the Panthers out of Ohio, have a runner at third in a 4-0 ball game.
Well, that throwdown from Max right there to get the runner out stealing is now huge because I can't really tell what had happened out there in left center field. The ball just got underneath the outfielder as I'm being attacked by a bee. I don't know what we're going to have here. We're going to have Coach Free coming out. I don't know if he's looking at Mikey over there at third. I don't know if Mikey's okay or not. And Coach Free's going to walk back to the dugout. But, yeah, a good throw by Max down there to second. And I'm probably going to be an error on one of the outfielders there. I didn't see who it was. It just got underneath the glove. We're a little too far away. The ball got underneath somebody's glove.
4-0 our score. Jackson Gary trying to get out of trouble here in the third inning. And here's the pitch. And who is this batting?
This is back to the leadoff, Dylan Wallenweber. And, David, that was the 9-hole. That was the first hit of the game for Elder.
Two balls, no strikes. Jackson to the plate. Ball 3. High and tight. At least scoreboard. I don't know if they've changed the scoreboard. You got one guy doing the PA, the scoreboard, and everything. That's like James Branson back at Bobby Hopkins. The pitch. That is a ball, and I believe the count now 3 balls and no strikes. Preston Fetters is our camera guy, working all 3 cameras today. Oliver Poggle, our technician. We missed Dylan Woody not being with us. Pitch is a strike on the outer half of the plate. Pitch is a called strike. What? Jackson Gary with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Fell behind 3-0. Rallied back for 2 straight strikes. That one's high, and they've got him on the corners with 2 outs.
Now batting second baseman, number 11, Jack Rosenbacher.
Rosenhacker is the batter for the Elder Panthers. We're in the 3rd inning, 4-0 Wildcats, but they mounting their first threat. Pitch is outside a ball. We're going to adjust the scoreboard for you here just a bit. Inside, Jackson, who had great control through the first 2 innings, has kind of lost control here, second time through the order. He's got runners at first and third. Max DeRiggi, the catcher. The runner at first draws the throw.
Yeah, that throwdown to get the runner Ryan Smith caught stealing there, that was a huge run. A huge out.
Another throw over to first and a little closer that time. Cam applies the tag. The Carpenter Bee seems to have kind of wandered away a little bit. Not as many as there was when we first started. Here's the pitch. Hit well, hit deep. Ball is way deep. Parker back on it, can't make the play. 1 run in. Here comes the throw, the cutoff, the throw to the plate, and he's safe. And it's 4-2. Booming double off the left field fence. And it's 4-2. So after 2 really good solid innings by Jackson Gary, they have produced their first hits and their first runs here in the 3rd, and they cut the lead in half. It's 4-2. The Wildcats in the lead, and ball hit hard. Parker went back on it. Parker's not a normal left fielder. He's the catcher, obviously, and he almost got to it. And it's 4-2, and they've got a runner at second base with an opportunity to score once again.
Yeah, and great effort from Parker Free there in left field. He almost ran that down. That ball was hit a long way.
A little bit too much of the strike zone, but it's called a strike, and the count is 0-1. We're having people tell me that the scoreboard needs to be adjusted just a bit. We'll look at that here in a bit. No balls and 1 strike, the pitch. And that's a foul ball. Almost hit him. Might have hit him off the hands the way it sounded. But it's a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. We're at Dobbins-Bennett. Tomorrow we'll be in Johnson City. Going to ask Coach Free after the ball game, make sure what field we're going to. We played at that minor league park a couple years ago. No balls and 2 strikes. Pitch. Outside. Runner at second base. 2 runs in for the Panthers. 4-2 Wildcats. Jackson comes to the plate. There's a pitch just outside. Let's put it right up here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jackson Gary has the sign from Max. The pitch called strike 3 on the outer half of the plate. But the Panthers score 2 times. They leave a runner at second base. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd in Kingsport. The Wildcats on top, 4-2, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Kingsport Dobbins Bennett High School. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Looks like Joe Webb is the leadoff man in this inning, and he takes a strike. Wildcats were up 4-0, but Elder has put a couple runs on the board. Cut the lead in half. It's 4-2. The Wildcats will have Joseph Webb, Carson Fagan. And the ball is hit to right field. Will it stay in fair territory? No. Just drops off foul down the line. And the count is 0-2. Wildcats will play Farragut on Monday at Bobby Hopkins Field at Oak Ridge. All students, that Oak Ridge students, they attend the game will get in for free. That's a big one. It's a big game. Farragut and Oak Ridge. It's for the district championship. The Wildcats need to sweep the Admirals, which is no easy task, as most people know. 0-2 pitch to Joe, bounces away, and it's 1-2. Farragut, the back-to-back state champions, maybe back-to-back-to-back. They've won about 13, 4 straight state championships. Awesome for them. I mean, they're just, the most prolific baseball program of the last, 25 years for sure. 13 titles is just unbelievable. And they've had several different coaches do it, Lee. It hasn't been just one guy. They've just been able to get it done when it comes. Sometimes, I remember one year they won the state championship, and we beat them twice in the same season. Pitch to Joe. A little bit low, and the count is 2-2. Farragut, what a program they've put together.
Yeah, and I believe they had to come here and play Dobbins Bennett. I want to say in the sectional series, I think they had to go to 3 games. And, yeah, I mean, year in, year out, they just – I don't know how they do it. They just find a way to become a wagon every single year. I mean, even when the years they don't win state, they're runner-up. So – yeah, I mean, it's for about the last 2 decades. I think in my lifetime they've won 9 or 10 titles.
They won 13 total. Pitch to Joe, cut on and missed, and he strikes out swinging. And that is out number 1. Wildcat hitters, they played in the first game, and here comes Carson Fagan. Carson had a hit his last time, a double. He has had a couple doubles in this game. Credited with the loss, unfortunately, in the first ball game on that catcher's interference to Dobbins Bennett. Here's the pitch. That's on the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, I guess the bad part about sitting where we are sitting, there are no lights. I mean, it is dark, and I know you're having to use the flashlight on the pin to be able to see as Carson takes strike 2. Curious for people watching the game what our cameras, we weren't able to situate our cameras in our normal spots because of the configuration of the stadium. Let us know what you think about that. Carson takes one inside. 1-2. What do you think of, Lee? I wanted to talk to you, and I will when at the end of this half inning. My question to you about the progression of the program that the Wildcats program has made over the last several years. Carson barely stays alive, fouls it back to the screen. Coach Free has done a really good job. He took over. Program was a little bit down when he came to Oak Ridge after several really strong years by Coach Froning, and we've had some good teams when Nelson Glover was here. Coach Garrison, longtime assistant coach, was right before Coach. Ball hit on the ground, third base side. Third baseman fields it, throws low, and that's close. And I guess they called him out. Or they called him safe. I was blocked by the pole once again. I don't know if you can see the pole on our cameras. That's an infield single for Carson. That's his 3rd hit of this doubleheader. And the batter now will be Cam Welch. 4-2 our score on the Wildcats of Oak Ridge. On top, Elder, the Panthers. They're wearing, well, we're not on radio anymore, so I can just, you can see it. They're wearing white, but a little purple. Wildcats are wearing their black jerseys. Lee, you look kind of bored over there. You don't like baseball anymore?
I'm just sitting here with my pen. I'm just enjoying, had a day off work today, and I'm just happy to be here. We're going to get a mound visit here, but I'm enjoying, this has been outstanding weather, really, not just today, but really the whole spring. I think we're going to get a potential pitching change, but I'm just enjoying being here.
Let me ask you, we'll go to my question to you then. I know you, when was the first year you saw Oak Ridge baseball play?
Well, I want to say it was after COVID, so I want to say maybe around 2021, and I don't remember exactly when Coach Free arrived at Oak Ridge. But yeah, I want to say you had just started doing baseball. You know, you had been doing a lot of basketball and football, and I had been helping during my time at UT. And I think we just decided, you know, hey, let's do some baseball. Why not? And so I think my first game, I think I helped out. I did a couple games, I want to say in 21, maybe 22, around those years right there.
And when we get a chance, we'll talk about the progression as Cam Welch will step in. The Wildcats on top, 4-2. We did not get the pitching change. They did have the mound visit. As Cam steps in, righty versus lefty. Good lead at first for Carson. Not going. The pitch to Cam is a called strike right down the middle, and the count is 0-1. I hope my voice is still available tomorrow for the 10 o'clock game, or Preston will be doing the play-by-play tomorrow. He says no. That red hair just kind of got even redder as ball hit on the ground in the hole. Perfectly placed base hit. Rounding second and heading towards third, Carson Fagan. Nothing fancy there. You know, Cam has home run power, but he's put his bat out there. There was a wide gap between the second baseman and the first baseman who was holding Carson on, and he didn't hit it hard, but right in the right spot, and the Wildcats have him on the corners with one out.
No, hit it off the end of the bat, kind of deep in the four hole, or to the left side of the four hole. It almost looked like a little hit and run because Carson Fagan was running on the play, and it was kind of a little bit of an awkward swing, but if that was a called hit and run, that was well executed. Runners at the corners, one out.
Jaden Cheverton, the batter. Jaden, RBI single in the Dobbins-Bennett game early. Pitch is low and outside. Cam with average speed at first, good speed at third. Wild pitch, wild pass ball in this park. That's unless it just caroms off the bricks, it's an automatic run because there's so much foul territory here. I mean, more foul territory. It's really wide between the dugouts. The pitch, Cam's going, the ball is hit on the infield. Foul territory, the catcher under it makes the catch. Cam retreats back to the bag. Jaden usually puts the ball on the ground, but that time he popped it up. A foul out recorded by the catcher, and the Wildcats have two outs now. Max DeRiggi, who had a single his last time, is the Wildcats batter with two outs and runners on the corners.
Yeah, probably not what you're looking for in that at bat. It was early in the count, and with runners at the corners, Cam was running on the play, and luckily he got back. It was a good play by the catcher to run over in foul territory to make that catch.
As I mentioned, Max had a single his first time. They've got Carson picked off at third, and that is another runner that has been picked off in this doubleheader. You don't see that happen very often, but that was the case here. So the Wildcats had them on the corners. They leave one of them stranded, and the third out is recorded at third. We are live at Dobbins-Bennett High School on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David Clary, along with Oliver Poggle, Preston Fetters, and Lee Wexler. And I'm going to go over to Oliver once again to talk about if there's anything on the chat going on. I think we lost one of our batteries on the camera. Anything on the chat going on, Oliver?
Nothing new right now, David. Nothing new.
Can't believe we lost that camera. Did we lose the battery or? Oh, he's bringing the angle up. Okay. That's a good thing. Back to my question to you, Lee. We were talking about the progression. What have you seen that's different in the program from the first time until the last couple of years where you've seen Oak Ridge at the state tournament?
Well, I think you've seen a lot of growth, from players who have been playing at a young age. So for someone like me, I never played on the varsity level. No one really where I came from, unless you were a superstar, freshmen and sophomores didn't play varsity. And so what I noticed here at Oak Ridge was you had a lot of younger players playing, and those younger players turned out to develop into solid players, and those players are going on to play in college. And so I look at this team right now, it's kind of a diverse team. You really don't have one really just solid elite class. They're kind of spread out a little bit. So only 5 seniors. So I've noticed that a little bit. And one thing I think Coach Free has had go his way is, like I just mentioned, he hasn't had just one really, really good class. The talent's kind of been spread out. And so what that does is year in, year out, they've really been able to stay competitive. And this year, and we were talking to Carl on the way here, looking at this roster on paper, I mean, not to put too much expectations, but I think this is a team that should absolutely be playing in the state.
And maybe win a title. As the first pitch from Jackson Gary is a ball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. We go to the top of the 4th inning, 4-2, the Wildcats in the lead. I'll come back to Lee here in a second. That pitch on the inside corner, but 2 inside. Who is this batting?
This is the 4-hole Carson Smith. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to left.
Right-handed hitter. Jackson gave up a couple runs, a couple hard hit balls the previous inning. That pitch is on the outside half of the plate. And the Elder fans not too happy. I'm not saying they're old. It's from Elder High School. Normally, you would call me Elder. Elder Lee. Pitch comes in, hit to right field and deep. Very deep. Going at the fence. The catch is made out there by Carson Fagan, and that is out number 1. He didn't have much room. There is a warning track, I do believe, out in right field, and he didn't have much room. He was right with his back to the fence, and he makes the catch.
Yeah, Carson, he went about as far back as he could go at the wall, and it is a short porch out there to right field, so the ballpark was able to hold it, and a long out.
1 out here in the 4th, 4-2 Wildcats. Jackson Gary comes in. The pitch is high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. In the earlier ball game, as we mentioned, if you just tuned in, the Wildcats fell to Dobyns-Bennett in 8 innings. 3-2 was the final score. Ball hit to center field. Warren's there in a couple steps and makes the catch. Warren made some great plays, and one play in particular in the Dobyns-Bennett ball game. He was really diving catch, and there's a lot of things that we weren't able to record. Dobyns-Bennett just did not allow us to live stream. They also did not allow us to videotape for reproduction or to replay. So Warren's play goes unseen except for those who witnessed it live. Obviously Parker Free's home run and the catcher's interference, which a lot of people would have liked to have seen. I'll be eager to talk to Coach Free after the ball game about those two particular calls. I know he was livid. Parker told Preston between games that pitch is cut on and missed, that he didn't do it. And obviously, what's Parker going to say? I mean, Parker's a pretty straight up guy, but I've seen him many times when we think the pitch is a strike or a ball or whatever. He'll say no, that was a ball or that was a strike or whatever. And so I'll be eager to talk to Coach Free about that after the ball game. I guess we'll have a post game. We haven't eaten here. We were hoping to eat nice, but we had an extra inning ball game. This one started about a half an hour late. The pitch is inside. And the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. We've got 2 outs here in the 4th and a 4-2 ball game. Gary's pitch called a strike, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fan base has kind of left us a little bit. Not Oak Ridge. I mean, still a lot of Oak Ridge people. A lot of Elder fans made the trip. But obviously Dobyns-Bennett with their home game. Crowd was much bigger first game. That pitch is high and tight, and that's ball 4. I've never really seen Jackson with control issues. He's typically throws strike. He strikes. He doesn't throw hard, as I mentioned, but he's pretty solid especially for a. He's not the biggest guy in the world for a sophomore, and in these games, and Lee, you know this as well as I do. I know you got Farragut coming up Monday and Wednesday. Those are huge district ball games for both teams. It's for the district championship. If Farragut wins the game at Bobby Hopkins on Monday, they're the regular season district champs. If the Wildcats win it, it forces the game on Wednesday for the championship. So, but in these games, you can see Coach Free has played a lot of different guys, which the ball is hit on the ground, foul. He's played a lot of different guys. He hasn't thrown his aces. The Wildcats 3 pitchers. I guess you would consider to be the aces. Obviously, Mikey Teasley, along with Joe Webb and Cheeto, Cam Welch. He's thrown Braylon Payne. He looks like he's going to be an ace at some point. And then this young guy pitching today, Jackson Gary, and he throws a strike, and the count is 0-2. Elder fans don't like the strike zone. He's been fairly consistent. He's called that outside pitch for both. It did look outside to me. But, 0-2 pitch, hit right to the second baseman, Jonah Webb. He had moved from second base to cover the bag because the runner had tried to steal towards second. The ball was hit right to him, and he steps on the bag for the out. We go to the bottom half of the fourth inning here at Dobbins-Bennett High School. The game you're watching on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, is 4-2 Wildcats. We appreciate the class of 1989 for sponsoring our broadcast, along with Laura Lynn Green. Laura Lynn Green, with State Farm Insurance in Oak Ridge, has been with us. Football, basketball, and baseball, they are big supporters. They've been on our broadcast, and they do the scoreboards at the gym. They do the scoreboards at Blankenship Field, and they're just very involved in our community. And, of course, Laura Lynn Green's husband is Aaron Green, who's the basketball coach. Will begin his 17th year at Oak Ridge next year. And we appreciate Todd Fox. He's a Clinton guy, but his office is located close to Arby's. And he can give you a quote on insurance. He's been with us all three sports as well. Then there's Mike Kelly, who did the broadcast of the Ray County ball game when I was down in Atlanta last week. And he's with Betsy Coleman Realty. And if you need to put your house on the market, or if you're looking for a house, call Mike. And you can see that's a Betsy Coleman Realty. And then there's Donnie Sharp, East Tennessee Spine and Sport. He obviously a former Wildcat, played baseball at East Tennessee State, and he's got East Tennessee Spine and Sport, and of course Sexton Automotive. Here's Max DeRigi once again. He was at bat when Carson was picked off of third, and he has got a single to his credit. Hits the ball high to right field, and the right fielder makes the catch for out number 1. Wildcats spent the night up here in Kingsport yesterday after beating the defending state champions Greenville Green Devils yesterday 8-4. Cheeto pitched in that ball game, pitched 4 innings, and Wildcats brought some relievers in. It's kind of interesting. This stage of the year, Lee, you're pitching. This is, okay, we're 25-3-1 on the year, and so you're approaching 30 ball games. You're approaching the postseason. You want to have as much depth at pitching as you possibly can, and that's what Coach Free's been doing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. If you look at how the state tournament is formatted, it's really more of it's a Tuesday through Friday tournament. Well, if you throw a lot of your big guns, Tuesday, Wednesday, which you have to do. Here's the pitch, cut on and missed. What you have to do in the state tournament, for example, you really have to throw your top guns, Tuesday and Wednesday of the tournament. Well, by the time you get to the state championship, and this is why Farragut wins all the time, because they have the most depth. And that's really one thing you really have to have if you want to win is depth.
Jonah Wolf is the batter. He's behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jonah tried to bunt his way on the first time and did his job to move the runner over, but he was retired at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the junior. The pitch, that's called strike 3. And good pitch there. There's no question about that. That was a strike, and Jonah Wolf is caught looking. The batter now, back to the top of the order we go, to Warren East. And Warren's been on base at least twice, I believe.
Yeah, he's 2 for 2, scored the first run of the game, has a couple singles, and stole a base.
You mentioned the state tournament. Obviously, Oak Ridge has been the last 2 years, but there's no guarantees. Even with the great talent, maybe the best talent they've had, and maybe since the early 90s, there's a called strike on the inside half of the plate. There's no guarantees. You got to get out of the region. You got to get out of the section. But I agree with you. The Wildcats have 3 solid starting pitchers, and 4 with Braylon. And Jackson's been very good as well. So depth is something. But the Wildcats have had kind of lulls sometimes on offense, which we saw really in the first game, where the Wildcats were only able to put 2 runs on the board with a great deal of talent. The Elder fans don't like that one. He's been calling that a strike most of the night, so I would agree with it. It's called a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch, hit in the air on the infield. Let's see who's first baseman's going to call for it. Staggers a bit, but makes the catch for out number 3. So the Wildcats are retired. 1-2-3 in the 4th inning. We go to the top of the 5th here in Kingsport at Dobbins-Bennett High School. The Wildcats on top, 4-2. Elders out of Cincinnati, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back here at Dobbins-Bennett High School. We go to the top of the 5th inning. The Wildcats on top 4-2. The Tribe Classic here in Kingsport. The Wildcats will play at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll have the broadcast for you. If Preston gets up, that's debatable. If Preston gets up tomorrow, we'll have the broadcast for you. I've done football, basketball, and baseball with the Preston. We've gone on several road trips, and Jackson hits the first man he faces. And that's not a great way to start the 5th inning. Leadoff man is aboard. Wildcats up 4-2. They jumped on them 4-0. They scored 3 in the first, a single run in the second. They've been shut out the last 2. The Panthers from Elder scored their 2 runs in the third. We are in the 5th now in a 4-2 ball game.
This is the 9-hole. Roger Waddell, the shortstop. He doubled back in. Oh, look out.
Squares the bunt. The ball, I think, went right between his legs, or it looked like it. Maybe I saw that wrong. Either way, the runner advances down to second base. If the ball gets behind the catcher, it's going to go a long way. It's going to roll a long way. And it did bounce back right back to Max, but easily down to second base, and they've got a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Jackson comes to the plate. Almost hit him again. Did hit him. So Jackson, who normally has really good control, has been a little off. And he's going to earn a visit from Coach Ball. He's going to wander out and talk to him. The entire infield comes in. So the tying runners are on base. The go-ahead run coming to the plate, but first, we're going to have a conversation. In the earlier game, Lee, tell me what happened in the Dobbins-Bennett ball game.
Oh, quite a bit, actually. Dobbins-Bennett won on a catcher's interference walk-off, which I've never seen before. 2-1 game. Both teams scored early. Great outing from the starting pitcher for Oak Ridge, Braylon Payne. As I look at my scorebook. Great outing from the freshman through 5 2/3 innings. Oak Ridge offense a little slow. It was 2-1 there in the 7th inning with 2 outs and a solo bomb by Parker Free with 2 outs in the 7th tied the game. Oak Ridge would force another inning. However, a little bizarre 8th inning here in Kingsport. Dobbins-Bennett got the first 2 guys on, and there was 2 outs and back-to-back catcher's interference calls. And catcher's interference, that's when the batter goes to swing and makes contact with the catcher's glove. It doesn't matter if the batter puts the ball in play, swings and misses, or fouls it off. If you make contact with the catcher's glove, it's an automatic free base, and that's how the game ended as we had a pickoff attempt to second, a little inside-out move, no throw. A little bit of bizarre ending. I've never seen anything like that. We've got a 4-2 ball game here in Kingsport, here in the top of the 5th.
Lee said nobody out. Runners at first and second. Let's see. Looks somebody is warming up in the Oak Ridge bullpen. I'm kind of screened, and kind of the dugout roof is kind of, I can see the catcher, but I cannot see who is actually warming up. And Jackson, I don't know if he's trying to work some time to get the pitcher warmed up, but he hasn't thrown a pitch to this guy yet. Go ahead run at the plate. Pitch, squares to bunt. Bunts it up the third base line. It's a good one, barehand play, and he has to eat it. The Wildcats now have seen Elder load the bases with nobody out. Perfectly placed bunt. Good decision by Mikey, and he just ate it. It was a good bunt. Ball deadened, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, as a third base with runners at first and second, if you're Mikey Teasley, he was almost playing even with the bag. And as a third baseman, you're kind of watching that runner from second. If he steals, you don't want to be charging because you want to get back and cover the base on a steal. But Mikey kind of got caught in no man's land, and the best play was to just eat the ball there because Mikey was too far back, and that was a well-placed bunt. Yeah, we've got bases loaded, nobody out. We're going to get a mound visit here. There is somebody in the bullpen, David. I couldn't see who that was. The dugout. The roof of the dugout's kind of blocking the bullpen mound.
Looks like, let's see, maybe try sharp. I can't quite see the number. Either way, Jackson Gary's day is ended. The Wildcats will bring into the ball game, I believe, try sharp. And Good round of applause for Jackson Gary. He leads with the bases loaded and his team on top, 4-2. Let's take a break. Appreciate you watching our broadcast. I know we've got the chat on. If you want to kind of have words for us, Oliver Poggle will relay them to you. We got Preston Fetters here, Lee Wexler. My name is David Clary. We'll be back with the side-armed Tri Sharp. We'll be back with him, and we'll see what the Wildcats can get out of this mess here in the fifth inning. 4-2 Wildcats. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Dobbins-Bennett High School. Tri Sharp comes in a full-blown miss, Lee Wexler. Bases loaded, nobody out, in a 4-2 ball game.
Yeah, he's coming into a little bit of a disaster. 2 walks and a bunt single with nobody out here. Oak Ridge, he's got a 2-run cushion here, but Elder is threatening here, and walks, those will kill you. So far for the 3 walks and 2 hit by pitches issued by the Oak Ridge pitcher, Justin Gary.
Tri Sharp comes in. He's one of the 5 seniors on the Oak Ridge team. He goes from the sidearm. Oh, once again, poor Max catches a foul tip, and down he goes once again. I know you've watched Oak Ridge, and if you remember Jacob Franklin, he had some little shoulder and rotator cuff, and he had to learn to pitch sidearm. And Trice was not originally a sidearm pitcher, but Coach Free said just about every team he's ever coached, he's had a sidearm guy. And Trice is his guy this year. And Trice doesn't throw hard, but he typically throws a lot of strikes. But you don't see that little submarine sidearm kind of delivery, and it's hard to pick up if you're not used to seeing something like that.
No, and as a hitter, I always hated guys that dropped out. I would always struggle. I don't know if I just couldn't pick up the ball. And I hope Max is okay. This is now the second time, I think. I don't know if we're going to get a defensive replacement. He is not getting up. That's twice now Max has taken a ball to either the thigh or the midsection or somewhere. As a catcher, you're wearing a lot of gear. You're wearing shin pads, a chest guard, and now he's going to set up. But I hate that for Max.
Coach Free doesn't want to bring Parker in to catch. I know Kipton Fagan is another catcher for the Wildcats, but Max really slow. He's tough. And I believe Max is a sophomore, I do believe. He is a sophomore. And as I mentioned, I don't know if you heard me say this, Lee, and his family watches us all the time. He's lived in Guam his entire life until this year, and part of the baseball team. Really nice guy. Talked to him a little bit when we were down in Alabama. Saw his family down there as well. But you can't have too many catchers. The Wildcats have really, 3 solid catchers with Max right behind Parker Free, and then there's Kipton Fagan as well. So eventually we'll have baseball for you again. We had an extra inning game the first game against Dobbins-Bennett, so this game is kind of running a little slow all of a sudden. We are in the 5th inning. Wildcats do have the lead 4-2. Wildcats don't want to get swept. I think that's kind of scary to me right now. The Wildcats, scored a lot of runs last night against Greenville. They stayed in the hotel last night, but the offense has kind of gone cold in both games. After the second inning, the Wildcats have been shut out. Infield is in at first. They're playing in front of the runner at first. The infield is in on the infield, and they're going to get a throw. Oh, Max can't make the play. Wildcats will see them tie the ball game. And unfortunately, what happened was the ball was hit immediately directly back to Tri Sharp. He threw it home, and Max who coming off of being hurt just a moment ago, couldn't make the play. They would have had the force at home, and Max could have gotten the double play at first, but the ball ticked off his glove, and we've got a 4-4 ball game, and they've got runners at second and third, and still nobody out here in this inning.
Yeah, massive trouble. That honestly could have been a 1-2-3 put out for a double play with no runs scored, and instead it's 2 runs and nobody's out.
So Trice got the ground ball that he wanted, but the Wildcats just couldn't make the play. And the Wildcats have been credited with 4 errors up on the scoreboard. Have we made 4 errors? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so.
No, I don't think there's been 4 errors, but yeah, that was definitely one right there. David, I'll kind of defer to you. Do you think Max should have caught that? Do you think that was more of an E1 or an E2?
I think it's an hit by pitch. I think it's an error on the catcher, actually. I think it ticked off his glove. He had to catch it. He was trying to hold the home plate area to get the force out. Now the bases are loaded. And Trice got to be a little upset. He made a good pitch on the previous guy. And probably you can't assume a double play, but I think the Wildcats would have had a double play. But instead, it's 4-4, and the bases are loaded, and they're still batting. Nobody out. Sharp comes in, pitch is on the inside corner, but 2 inside, and the count is 1-0. The Wildcats jumped on them 4-0, but it's been all Elder since. Trice. Ball hit on the ground off the end of the bat. Foul up the first base line. Wildcats playing a little kind of a different lineup today. Parker Free is in left field. Warren's in center. The right fielder is Carson Fagan. And Max Origi is the catcher. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Cut on a missed. And the count is 0-2. Scoreboard says 1-2, but I think it's 0-2. 1-2, thank you. I've done a lot of baseball here in the last few days. Got one more tomorrow at 10. Pitch from Trice outside. Evens the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. No place to put this guy. What has he done today?
This is Carson Smith. He has a pair of flyouts to left and right field.
2-2 pitch, hit on the ground. Into right field, 1 run in. Here comes the throw in, and not in time. It is 6-4. Elder, 6 straight runs on the Wildcats. And the inning continues. They'll have them at first and third. 6 unanswered runs by the Elder Panthers, and they lead at 6-4 as we play here in the 5th inning. Wildcats coming off of a big win yesterday, a tough loss in the first game, and all of a sudden the wheels have come off, and you got to give Elder a lot of credit. They have put the ball in play against the Wildcat Hurlers, and they've scored 6 unanswered runs.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my book here, and in just this inning alone, 3 hit by pitches and then a massive error, and that's just an all-time recipe for disaster.
The inning continues, still nobody out. Ball's hit foul again. Oh, did it hit that man? Foul territory. He kind of tried to roll out of the way from him. He's sitting on a grass bank to our right. I think it popped him actually in the leg. He's okay. I'm sure Max. That pitch is outside corner for a called strike. The Elder fans probably felt that was outside. They looked it from up here. And the count is 0-2. Trice Sharp, the pitcher for the Wildcats. Second one used in the game. Cut on a miss. There's out number 1. The Wildcats finally record an out here in the 5th in a 6-4 ball game. And Trice records his first out. He honestly deserved a better fate. I don't know how this inning, they could still score a couple more runs or more, but he definitely deserved a better fate. Should have had a double play early on, but, that's baseball. High school kids playing a game. Pitch from Trice is a pitch down low, I guess. 1 ball, no strikes.
And it's just kind of the way the game of baseball is. Your catcher goes down for the second time in this ball game, taking a foul ball off the midsection, and then the very next pitch, is a massive play that he was involved in.
1-0 pitch, runner going. Max, fakes the throw to second and then threw it down to third. Hesitated a bit, or they might have had him at third base. And now they've got 2 runners in scoring position. It's 6-4 Elder. Wildcats will play Farragut Monday and Wednesday. They'll play Jefferson County tomorrow at 10 a.m. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch hit hard right to the shortstop. Another run scores, and it is 7-4. Wildcats had the infield kind of in on the grass, and they couldn't make the play. And it's 7-4, 7 unanswered runs against the Wildcats, and the inning continues. They've got another runner at third. They're just batting around here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, the only out's a strikeout. Yeah, 3 hit by pitches in that massive error. Only 2 hits in the inning. They have 5 runs this inning on 2 hits.
Try Sharp, the pitcher, trying to record another out. Got another ground ball, which he wanted. That pitch is a called strike. 7-4 the score here in Kingsport. Runner at third, runner at first. Runner going. Ball hit foul. Out of play. Pretty close to our camera. But it survives. And the count is 0-2. Braves are winning like 8-0 against the Phillies. Pitch outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. What an inning for the Elder Panthers. 5 runs, you say 3 hits this inning?
3 hits. I initially said 2. That was my mistake. 3 hits this inning.
Sharp has the sign. The pitch outside and low, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a good-looking pitch there by Trice. Trying to work out of trouble. The inning started. Jackson Gary was on the mound. He struggled to get anybody out. Then Trice has come in. Runner going. Ball hit. Base hit. Great hit and run. They're going to have another first and third situation. Another run scores, and it's 8-4 Elder. Wow. They have batted around this inning. Great job of hitting. He's getting some ground balls, but unfortunately, they're hitting spots where nobody was, and the Wildcats haven't been able to make a couple plays. And, wow, a little conversation. Mikey's going to come talk to Trice. That's senior to senior. And I don't see anybody warming in the Oak Ridge bullpen. Trice, they've hit the ball hard, but they've hit them in spots where, if in normal alignment, they make the plays. And, if you make a huge error like Lee said, bad things happen, and this inning continues, and it's 8-4. They have scored 6 runs in this inning. Runner at first, the ball hit foul, back to the screen. I don't know, the Wildcats played a game yesterday against a really good team, the defending state champions. They played a game right before this, and the Wildcats look a little like they're just kind of going through the motions right now, Lee.
Yeah, probably not Oak Ridge's best games of the season so far. If you just look at the record, the ball's down low, they're going to take second base. This inning's turned into an unmitigated disaster, David. You just can't give the other team free 90s, and that's just walks and hit by pitches. They put the ball in play. They found some holes. Oak Ridge has had opportunities to get some outs, and they just haven't done it. So this has gotten ugly.
That's the word for it, I guess. Is the pitch hit foul over into the football stadium. Bounces off about the 6th row and bounces down. And the count is 1-2. Trice has had some counts in his favor, but has only been able to record the 1 out. Runners at second and third. Pitch hit to the left side, and that is foul. It's hard to kind of determine. I was looking. I know where the foul line is, but I was looking at the boundary of the football field and the line where camera guys and media people aren't supposed to go, and I saw these multiple lines. It was well foul. The count remains at 1-2. Ball hit into right field. 2 more runs will score. Wow. It is 10-4. They have scored 8 runs in this inning. And it's ugly. I mean, that's the word for it. And like I said, Trice, this is a game, honestly, where Coach Free and his group obviously don't have the normals guys playing their normal positions. They're playing, pitchers that, don't really come in situations like this. But Trice has been, he's been one of those guys who's been very dependable over his career. But 8 runs? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, 8 runs this inning. I'm going to count. Yeah, pretty much 8 guys have scored.
Wildcats get a double play right here, though. Maybe they do, and the bleeding finally ends. But what an inning it was for Elder. They score 8 times, and they lead the Wildcats now 10-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. What a revolting development this is. 10-4 our score. We'll be back to Dobyns-Bennett in a moment. Welcome back once again to Dobyns-Bennett High School. If you just tuned in, Wildcats jumped on them 4-0, but they have scored 10 straight runs on the Wildcats to take a 10-4 lead. Finally, the Wildcats got the double play started by Cam Welch. Parker's the batter. He takes the ball down low. 1 ball, no strikes. Elder's out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Parker hit a home run in the Dobyns-Bennett ball game. He swings through that one, and the count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike. It was 2-1 Dobyns-Bennett going into the 7th inning, and with 2 outs, he tied the ball game. Wildcats eventually lost in 8. Parker takes one up high, 2 balls and 1 strike. The Wildcats have the offense to get back in the ball game, but they don't have a whole lot of innings to do it in, as they trail now by 6 runs. Here's the pitch to Parker. High and tight. 3 balls and 1 strike. Wildcats need base runners, just very similar to what Elder did in the top of this inning. Parker steps in. He hits it off the end of the bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, if you're an Oak Ridge hitter, obviously you want to take it 1 at bat at a time. You want to get guys on and just try and chip away. And something that would drive a coach insane is if you're Elder, you have a big inning like you just did, and you come out and walk or give up a hit. That'll drive coach insane.
Ball 4. Pitch was high to Parker Free, so the Wildcats have a leadoff man aboard. Here comes Mikey Teasley. Parker will not have a runner, I don't believe, although I do see, unless they're going to move, I think they might be thinking about moving Parker to catcher because they're going to run for him. He's playing left field, and it'll be, let's see, Andy Hudson running at first for Parker Free. Parker says something to Mikey as he steps in. I'm guessing Max's day is done behind the plate, or we would see, because Parker's a good base runner, and I would guess we're going to see Parker put on his gear once again. 10-4 the score. Runner at first for the Wildcats is Andy Hudson. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. Outside to Mikey Teasley. Mikey signals to the dugout that it was outside. It's hard to. The umpire of the Dobyns-Bennett game was really good. This one's been very inconsistent. Both teams have not really liked all of his calls, but they're human. They don't have the system that the major leagues. What do you think about the system in the major leagues?
I really don't know what to make of it right now. The Braves, I think, have honestly struggled with this ABS stuff. They every time they challenge, it seems like it's always wrong. But, I wasn't a fan of banning the shift. I really wasn't a fan of doing the pitch clock change. But now you really don't even think about it. So, I guess, it's all about ratings and money, which is, I guess drives everything, really. So, baseball, it's at the major league level, I guess in the minor leagues. We probably won't ever see anything like that at this level. But I really don't know what to make of it. I guess we're still learning. Well, I don't know if I'm learning, but it's something I guess we're just going to have to get used to.
No balls and 2 strikes to Mikey Teasley. A couple throws over to first, and Mikey steps back in. The pitch is high and outside. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Teasley back in, nobody out. Runner at first, 10-4, Elder on top of Oak Ridge. Pitch to Mikey. High and outside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. This person down here thought that was a strike, but he has been calling that. But that was a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. An 8-run inning in the top of this one. We're in the 5th. Mikey back in, the pitch to him. Hit to right field, and that's going to be caught by the right fielder, and they have a double play. No, they call him safe. Wow. In my eyes, he looked out to double off the runner at first base, but the field umpire said no, called him safe. And the Elder fans, you might hear them, they're not too happy. And their coach, he looked very out to me, but, what can you say?
He looked out to me, and he honestly looked out by almost a half step. I mean, the only reason he would be called safe is if the first baseman's foot came off the bag. I don't know. You can't ask this guy to overchange a call. I mean, what are you going to – the home plate umpire can't overturn that call unless there's like a foot, unless, they say, oh, well, his foot's off the bag. I thought he was out, but once you call him safe, I mean.
He's out. So I don't know how they overturned it, but Wildcats' Andy Hudson doubled off. The ball was hit a sinking line drive to right field, and it was a nice play by the right fielder. He made the catch and then threw back to first, and they double off. And that's another runner that's been picked off in this game, and Coach Free is not going to be happy about that. And right now, they've got 3 outs up on the board. That's the second out of the inning. We're in the 5th inning, 10-4. This has not been a good day for the Cardinal and Gray as Joseph Webb takes one high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, the rain just if it rains, it pours, and I just don't understand, why does the home plate umpire get to come in and change a call like that? I mean, are we going to start asking, the field umpire to start calling balls and strikes? And we're not going to do that. So the right call was actually eventually made, but I just don't understand how home plate has the authority to overturn that call. Unless
he thought, like you said, the foot was off the bag. And the home plate umpire does have a good view of that.
Well, the other thing, too, is there was no argument from Coach Free or the Oak Ridge dugout, too, so which I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I don't know a formality issue there, but there was no argument. Again, I mean, the right call was actually end up being made, but.
Ball hit on to the shortstop. Joseph, he double clutches it, but he throws him out. And Joe kind of stumbled as he came across the bag. So the Wildcats fail to score. We go to the top of the 6th inning. The Wildcats trailing it 10-4. We'll be back to Dobbins-Bennett in a moment.
Dylan Wallen.
Colton Bankin takes over on the mound for the Wildcats in a 10-4 ball game. Wildcats lost a heartbreaker in the first one, 3-2, on a catcher's interference call. It's been all downhill. Actually, not so. The Wildcats scored the first 4 runs of this game. Appear headed for an easy win, but then it has been all Elders since that time. They scored 8 runs in the previous innings. They have scored 10 unanswered runs against the Wildcats. Bankin's pitch is a called strike, and it's 0-2. Who is this?
This is the leadoff guy, Dylan Wallenweber, who is 1 for 2.
That pitch is a ball outside. I thought we might see Parker come in because they did run for him. It looks like Max is still behind the plate. Because Free says, you go to tournaments like this and you try to build depth. That pitch is outside, floats outside. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 10-4 is the score. Wildcats have come to Kingsport and heartbreak so far. That pitch is inside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Is Parker number 2? I can't. The umpire's blocking. I cannot see his number. Ball is hit in the air. Shallow left field. Shortstop Jaden Cheverton back and makes the catch. It is Max Origi still catching. That is out number 1. Colton Bankin retires the first man he faces. We are in the 6th inning in a 10-4 ball game. The Wildcats will play Jefferson County tomorrow. I don't know if the Wildcats stayed up late last night after the Greenville win, but that pitch floats in high and tight. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Wildcats came into this game 25-2-1 with victory over Nolensville, victories over some really, really good teams, but they haven't looked too good in this game for sure. The first game, the ball ripped to left field, and the Wildcat Parker Free makes the catch in left field. That's out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th. And who's batting now?
This is Jared Lammers, the third baseman. He is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch.
Been a long day here for us here broadcasting. We had to do radio in the first ball game. Dobbins Bennett, as I mentioned, does not allow.
Forget what I just said, David. This is a new batter. This is not who I said it was.
He hits the ball to Parker once again. Parker lets it fall in front of him for a base hit. Parker's a catcher. He's a good athlete, but he didn't want the ball to get behind him. And that's a 2-out base hit for the Panthers.
Now batting catcher number 20, Carson Smith.
The catcher, Carson Smith. What has he done today, David? He is 1 for 3.
Bats for the runner at first. Good news is they haven't scored this inning. They scored 8 in the previous inning. There are 2 outs. Colton Bankin pitching. Throws a strike. Kind of a similar build to Jackson, except Jackson Gary, he's a right-hander. Jackson a left-hander. Not very big. Doesn't throw hard, but throws strikes generally. And there's another one. And the count is 0-2. Ball hit to left field again. That's another base hit. Solid single. And Parker Free throws it in. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs. And they've got another runner in scoring position.
Tucker Valdhaus is 0 for 3.
Wildcats will play again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Hopefully with a little enthusiasm behind them. What is tonight? Is today Friday, I guess? I'm just thinking about the restaurants that are going to be open by the time we get done. As the ball is hit foul off to the right. We've been here since about 3 o'clock. We had to set up. We had to do the radio ball game first, the Dobbins-Bennett ball game. As I mentioned, they don't allow live streaming. It'll take us a while to unpack here. Hopefully we'll get out of here with a win. Okay, still have 6 outs to work with. That pitch is inside. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch Hit on the ground, third base side. Nice play by Mikey. Tags the runner going to third from second for out number 3. So they pick up a couple of base runners. They leave them stranded. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 10-4. We'll be back in a moment. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Wildcats still have 6 outs to work with. They're down 6, though. Wildcats have not been able to really generate a whole lot of offense in either game, the Dobbins-Bennett ball game, and they didn't really face their ace, but a crafty lefty, as they said, kind of kept the Wildcats off balance in that first ball game. They lost it in 8 innings, 3-2. In this one, Wildcats just a lot of runs in 1 inning, 8 in 1 innings, and 10 unanswered against the Wildcats, and the Wildcats got to get going here as Carson hits the ball in foul territory and bouncing just around our camera to the right. That might have been a good shot, Oliver, to see the ball bouncing in front of our camera, but it's out of play. No balls on 1 strike. Carson, what has Carson done today? I know he's had at least maybe 2 doubles.
Yeah, he's got at least 2 hits in this game. I know he had a hit in the previous games. He's got at least 3 hits today.
He takes a strike on the inner half of the plate, and the count is 0-2. Carson will be followed by Cam Welch in the Wildcat lineup. New pitcher in the game. Carson hits it off his hands, foul to the right, 0-2. Who's the new pitcher?
The new pitcher is a young man named Noah Gruen.
They have some interesting names. Our friends from Ohio, 0-2 pitch, and Carson is hit in the butt. And he's a base runner. The Wildcats have a guy on. And that's a start here in the 6th inning. They need 6 to tie, 7 to win. And hopefully as Cam Welch will bat, you got to start from somewhere. The Wildcats got their leadoff man, I believe, on the previous inning, but ended up, a double play. Cam will bat here. Cam had a hit, I believe, his last time. 10-4 the score. Hits are even at 6 apiece, but walks, a crucial error. A couple hit batsmen, big difference. That pitch is on the inner half at the knees, and Cam is behind 0-1. Yeah, that was just a disastrous inning. Even the configuration with the infield in, they'd hit it past him, or, it was just everything that Elder did was good in that inning. And they scored 8. Ball hit on the ground. Short hop. They get the one. They get the two. Nope. He throws the ball away, and it rolls away, and the Wildcats will have a base runner. That's one out, though. They get the force at second. Carson is retired. Shortstop to second base, but the return throw to try to double up
Now batting number 13.
Cam Welch
Jaden
eludes
Hamilton.
and rolls away, and the Wildcats have a base runner with one out, and the batter will be Jaden Cheverton. Jaden had an RBI single his first at bat in the first ball game, the Dobbins-Bennett ball game. I don't think he's done anything, at least hit-wise. He takes the strike. What has he done in this game?
And just a pair of pop-outs, popped out to short and then popped out to the catcher.
Cheverton, the batter. Base runner is Cam Welch at first. Wildcats down 6, 10-4. Pitch, a little bit low. Good stop by the catcher. Keeps it in front of him. That's, as I've said throughout the course of these two ball games, the Wildcats, there's a lot of room behind home plate. Anything gets past the catcher, and we saw that happen on the double play attempt that was ticked off the glove of Max. The ball hit in the air right side, shallow. Shortstop converging, no man's land in foul territory. Nice play by the second baseman. He comes over and makes the play in foul territory, and that is out number 2. And the Wildcats will send to the plate the catcher, Max DeRigi.
Max DeRigi.
DeRigi steps in, right-handed hitter. Wildcats have Jonah Wolf on deck. 2 outs. Wildcat offense has been really kind of sluggish in both games, obviously. Max takes one low. Max is not very tall. The elder fans in front of us, and I mean that by the name of their team, they're not elderly. Thought that was a strike, but Max is not very tall, and I think that probably was a ball. He takes ball 2. Runner at first is Cam Welch. There's 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Just not been a very good game for the Wildcats. First game was an excellent game to watch as a fan. It ended weird. Max takes a strike on the outer half. It ended weird. 2 consecutive catcher interference calls ended the Wildcats game against Dobbins-Bennett in 8 innings. In this game, the Wildcats started with Jackson Gary, Tri Sharp. Both of them ran into trouble late, and the runs all scored 8 in that 1 inning. As Max has another hit up the middle. Has 2 hits in the ball game for the backup catcher, the sophomore, and I think he's going to be a good one for the Wildcats. He's a good hitter. Doesn't try to hit it out of the park. The Wildcats now have runners at first and second, and Kipton Fagan will come in to run for the catcher, and the batter will be Jonah Wolf. Jonah tried to bunt his way on the first time. I don't remember what he did the second time.
Struck out looking, and that was something I was just kind of tallying up. In the 13 and 2/3 innings worth of offense so far today for Oak Ridge, only 6 strikeouts for the hitters. So, that's good. They're not striking out, but they're just really not finding a lot of holes.
Pitch to Jonah, hit hard down the line. That's a base hit. That's going to score a run. Here comes Cam rounding third. Here comes the throw, and it comes in. The Wildcats. That is an RBI double for Jonah Wolf, and the Wildcats have closed the gap to 5, 10-5, and they have a couple runners in scoring position. And now the top of the order. There are 2 outs. Really big hit down the third base line, went into left field, and Cam Welch came around to score, and it's 10-5. Couple runners in scoring position. Now we got the top of the order up, and Warren East. What has Warren done in this ball game?
Warren's got a couple singles. He is 2 for 3. Popped out first in his last at bat.
Righty versus righty. Junior Warren East steps in. The pitch to him. Thought about swinging. Takes one high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Our video technician today is Oliver Poggle and Preston Fetters. Lee Wexler's to my right, doing stats and color. My name is David Clary. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Pitch to Warren. Takes a breaking pitch in there for a called strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Appreciate you watching our broadcast. Appreciate our sponsors. Getting towards postseason, when the TSSAA will charge us for any postseason games, so we'll probably Be doing some fundraising here in the near future. Got about a week left in the season. 2 Farragut games this week. Pitch to Warren. That's way outside. Really good stop by the catcher. Well, that would have been run number 6 for the Wildcats. Warren ahead in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tribe Classic here in Kingsport. Tomorrow we'll be playing at 10 a.m. Preston. 2 balls, 1 strike. Pitch to Warren. Outside but low. And the count is 3-1. Things are getting interesting. Looks like Andy Hudson's on deck for the Wildcats. He might have come in for Parker earlier. 3-1 pitch to Warren. That's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And the hitter will indeed be Andy Hudson. So Andy in the game. He must have come in for Parker earlier when they did the run, and that's Parker did not return to the ball game. So that's when Andy came in, and we've got another conversation on the mound. 10-5 our score. The Wildcats trailing as the Wildcats play here in Kingsport. As I mentioned, tomorrow they'll play in Johnson City. We'll have the broadcast at around 10 o'clock, which means we'll have to get there fairly early. Lee, why don't you recap what happened in the first game against Dobbins-Bennett?
Well, David, is honestly so long ago. I'm going to have to look back in my book here. 3-2 is the final. Game ended on back-to-back catcher interference calls. Oak Ridge got on the board first in that game, 1-0. Dobbins-Bennett would come back to take a 2-1 lead. And then Parker Free's home run with 2 outs in the top of the 7th would tie the game. They couldn't get any more runs against Dobbins-Bennett. Final score was 3-2 in 8 innings of play. Dobbins-Bennett had a good little pitcher, didn't really throw too hard. I think Oak Ridge maybe struggled with the velocity. Didn't have too many strikeouts. It was a fast game at first, but Oak Ridge just kind of found themselves on the wrong end of a tough result.
Andy Hudson, the batter, and he takes the ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. If somehow Andy can get on base, the tying run will come to the plate in the person of Mikey Teasley. 1 ball, no strikes to Andy. He's a junior outfielder. Hits the ball to center field, but not deep enough. Center fielder, a can of corn, makes the catch for out number 3. So the Wildcats leave the bases loaded. We go to the top of the 7th inning here in Kingsport. 10-5. Elder on top of Oak Ridge. We'll be back to Dobbins-Bennett High School in a moment. Dylan Skeen will be the new pitcher for the Wildcats. I know his grandparents were watching earlier in the game. Hopefully they're still watching as Dylan's about to pitch the 7th inning. I think the last time I saw Dylan pitch, we were at CAK and pitched a scoreless inning. Got the save, I do believe, in that game. I don't know if you've been to CAK, Lee, but they're very proud of Spencer Strider. It's a big sign on that field. That's where he played high school ball, a Atlanta Brave pitcher. And Dylan's job right here is to keep it at 5 runs and hope the Wildcats can rally in the bottom half of the inning. The Wildcats, don't remember the last time they were swept in a doubleheader, but that could be the case if the Wildcats do not rally in the 7th. Dylan Skeens is the pitcher, number 14. He's one of the 5 seniors Dylan doesn't see a whole lot of action, but he's stuck it out through the program in his 4th year as a Wildcat, and he embraces with his classmates Cam Welch and Mikey Teasley, who's still at third base, I think. Let me check that number, make sure that is Mikey. And Mikey will be the leadoff man in the bottom of the inning. Here comes Dylan's first pitch. It's outside a ball. So the Wildcats have played all 5 of their seniors, Dylan Skeens, Cam Welch, Tri Sharp, along with Mikey Teasley. And Dylan Skeen, as I mentioned, as that pitch is a ball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. 10-5 the score. Elder on top of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge lost the first game 3-2. Tommy and Martha Lee says we should go to Pals. Although she said that she would prefer Big Ed's, but we're a little ways from Big Ed's. That's Mike Kelly with Betsy Coleman Realty. He always goes to Pals. And Tommy and Martha commented on Mike's desire to eat at Pals. 3-0 pitch from Dylan. And that's ball 4. So the senior comes in and 4 straight pitches out of the strike zone.
Yeah, I thought that last pitch was definitely in there for a strike. Yeah, Dylan's job is just to come in here, throw strikes, let your defense work, and keep it at 5 runs if you can. I know you just referenced Pals. I know we don't have any over in the mid-state, but we do have In-N-Out now.
Knoxville's getting one. That pitch, he did swing half-heartedly, and that's a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 10-5. Elder out of Cincinnati, Ohio on top. Tomorrow it's Jefferson County, the Patriots and the Wildcats at Johnson City. I hope my voice will hold out. The pitch from Dylan is outside. Hope his grandparents are still watching. I'm going to ask Oliver real quick. This is Dylan Skeen's pitching. I hope his grandparents are still watching. Monitor that and let us know they are watching. Good. And I'm glad you hung on with us. So Dylan's pitching. 1 ball, 1 strike. Watching from Connecticut, yes. Pitches hit to right field. Slicing. Almost a great catch out there, but it's not caught. And they'll have him at second and third with nobody out. Ball just kept slicing away, and he just couldn't quite catch up to it. And they've got him in second and third, and they're threatening again.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still Carson Fagan out there. I thought maybe he took a good route to the ball and just missed it. I don't know if he lost it, but that was a well-hit ball right there. This will be Elder's using all kind of pinch hitters and players here, David. I am not keeping up with it.
Well, they do have a pitch hitter, and there's a called strike from Dylan, and the count is 0-1. Maybe we can – I'm not sure who that is in right field, honestly. I guess it could still be Carson. It doesn't – I can't really tell. Maybe we can zoom in and I'll take the camera off and that pitch hits him and the bases are loaded. Wildcat relievers have struggled in this game. Actually, it is Carson Fagan still out in right field. Thank you. I know Warren's still in center. And the left fielder is Andy Hudson. Third baseman is Mikey Teasley. Shortstop is Jaden Sheverton. The second baseman is Jonah Wolf. The first baseman is Cam Welch. The catcher is Max Derigi. And the pitcher is Dylan Skeens. And he is in a mess here. Bases loaded. The pitch hit to right and foul. Out of play. Off of the aluminum roof to our right. And the count is 0-1. They scored 8 runs in the 5th inning to take the lead over Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge entered that inning leading 4-2. As that pitch is a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Did a ball game yesterday in Greenville that lasted all 7. We did radio broadcast in the first game against Dobbins Bennett. We're in the 7th inning of this one. I've got one at 10 in the morning. Hopefully we'll be able to call it. I am feeling a little vocal strains right now. 2 balls and 1 strike. Need a double play. What about a 1, 2, 3 double play? We almost had that in that inning, but it didn't happen. Let's hit a comebacker right back to Dylan. Let's get a couple outs here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Oak Ridge still has a lot of fans in attendance. Elder Great contingent for all the way from Cincinnati. The pitch, hit foul, out of play. Over towards the parking lot. I don't hear anything. So the silver van is safe once again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. For those of you who have stuck with us, thank you. We appreciate that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's Dylan's pitch. Hit again, foul. Off to the right. Just kind of a stay alive swing. Goes off the brick to the right. Facilities here. We showed the football field here at Dobbins-Bennett. It takes an elevator to get to the top of the press box, like 4 or 5 floors to their press box at a high school field. 2-2 pitch from Dylan. Hit on the ground. They're going to get perhaps a double play. There's 1. There's 2, but another run scores. They do get the double play, but it is now 11-5. And that's 2 outs. And 11-5 now the score. The run comes in from third. So they got the double play, but unfortunately they couldn't come home with the play because the ball wasn't hit that hard anyway. They go, it's Wolf to Cheverton to Welch. 2 outs, and it's 11-5.
I'm not going to lie. I think Oak Ridge got away with one there. I don't think the shortstop held his foot on the bag. I think, and the fans and coaches were pointing. I think the play there at second. I don't think that was an out, but they gave it to him.
Yeah, they do that a lot, just to kind of the phantom across the bag when he's somewhere close to it. But you're right. I mean, it was close. Obviously, we'll have video evidence of this one. Wildcats. Dylan Skeen's trying to get one more out and get the Wildcats back to back. And that pitch is high. They haven't changed the scoreboard, but I feel for the guy behind us. He's sitting directly behind us, having to do the PA and the scoreboard and just about everything else. Kind of like you and Dylan, who's not here, Oliver and Preston. That pitch is a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Runner at third. 1 run in. We're in the top of the 7th inning in an 11-5 ball game. Dylan comes to the plate. Inside corner for a called strike. And the count is 2-1. I believe the Wildcats will have Mikey Teasley to lead off the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, that good. Yes.
Ball's hit foul to the left. I love that vocalization there, Lee Wexler. I know you're probably getting tired. This game is not, since the 5th inning, it has not been as fun to watch. The first game was fun. It was a pitcher's duel, 2-2 going into extra innings. That pitch is outside but low. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Catcher's interference, and ended weird, as I mentioned. Back-to-back catcher's interference, bases loaded, and run scored, the winning run, and they won it 3-2. Wildcats in danger of dropping a doubleheader here in Kingsport. Pitch, hit, foul. Back to the netting once again. And the count remains at 3-2. It's been a long night. We're approaching 10 o'clock, guys. 12 hours from now, we'll be back on the air as the Wildcats take on the Patriots of Jefferson County. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dylan comes in. Foul back to the screen. We weren't able to configure our cameras the way we normally do with one directly behind the plate. We had to go from the corners here, and then obviously the one up top as well. Maybe I'll be able to set it up a little differently tomorrow in Johnson City. Pitch hit in the air, foul territory, off the roof on top of us, and it rolls out, bounces off, and it rolls all the way back down to the field. Kind of an automatic ball return they've got here at Dobbins-Bennett going. Runners on the corners, 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. Actually not on the corners. Now they have runners on the corners. And they've scored a run, and it is 11-5. I'm surprised the Elder fans have not kind of rioted. I guess when you're up 6, you're not. It is 11-5. Am I wrong there?
I've got 11, yeah.
Okay. They just haven't changed it on the scoreboard. Usually, I don't know if you've ever been to a basketball game where they didn't put the points on, they didn't put the points on, they didn't put the run on, they didn't put the run on, but the Elder fans are enjoying it. as their team leads Oak Ridge 11-5. Who's this batting? Do you know?
Well, I have Jack Rosenacker, but that's not what the fans are yelling.
Squares to bunt, takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Play at the plate. Safe. I turned away, and on the stolen base attempt, they steal the run from third, and it's now 12-5. And they've got a runner at second. By far, not the best night, second game at least for the Wildcats. Ball hit on the ground, foul. Past the elder third base coach. I don't know if we'll have a post-game show. I do want to talk to Coach Free about the first ball game, but I don't know that it's been a long day. We'll probably pack it up and have no post-game. I don't know if I can continue to talk as the pitch is cut on a miss. And that is strike 3, and that is out number 3. But the Elder Panthers score a few more times. They lead it 12-5. We'll be back to Dobyns-Bennett High School for the bottom of the 7th in a moment. Welcome back once again to Dobyns-Bennett High School. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. I know the Fagan family in Amarillo, Texas, still watching our broadcast. We've got viewers in Connecticut as Mikey Teasley leads things off for the Wildcats here in the 7th. The Wildcats are down 12-5. Mikey swings and he misses at the first one. Got a new pitcher in the game for the Panthers. Wildcats about to lose 2 games on the same day. Wildcats coming into this game had only lost 2 games all year, and they're going to fall to 25-4-1 unless they can rally big time here in the 7th inning.
Don't give up, David. It's only 7 runs.
I know. I've seen a score more in an inning as that ball is hit back towards the camera again. Clang off the bleachers to our right. I like this overhang. I mean, we haven't been in the sun just a little bit at the end of the first ball game. Mikey back in, deep in the box. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch hit foul up the left field side, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mikey will be followed in the Wildcat order by Joseph Webb, then Carson Fagan. Mikey back in, no outs. We're in the 7th. 12-5. Pitch. Mikey strikes out swinging. That pitch was way inside, and Mikey takes a hack at it anyway. I think maybe the Wildcats want to head back to the hotel.
Designated hitter, number
Yeah, it's really
24,
not
Joe
that great of a
Webb.
mindset either. I mean, you want to finish strong. I mean, trust me, I'm almost 26 years old. I don't know how old these guys are, but you only get to put the uniform on so many times in your life. So, he knew. I think if you asked any of these players' dads, they would give anything to go out there and just for one at bat.
Yeah, I would agree. Even me. Wonder how I'd fare. I'll ask Oliver and Preston that later. Here's the pitch to Joe. It's down for a ball. So Oliver and Preston, if I were to get a bat in this ball game, how do you think it would end up?
If you were batting, I don't really have an answer for that one. I can't imagine it.
I got an answer. So if he was batting, he would get scared at every single ball and then eventually either get walked or strike out.
Well, that's not bad. That's the voice of our technical crew here. My crew's been with me most of the year. That's Oliver Poggle. And there's a base hit for Joseph Webb, and that was also Preston Fetters. And Wildcats have life with one out. A base runner at first, and Joseph Webb, and the batter will be Carson Fagan.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't ask me what I would do if I went up to bat. I'd probably tear my hamstring just walking to the plate. I always had hamstring problems when I played, so I wouldn't do too much better. If you handed me a bat, I'd probably tear something. And I'm relatively young.
My Uncle George taught me how to bunt, so I might be able to lay one down if I didn't get it in the face. As that pitch is a called strike. No balls and one strike. Carson the batter. Carson Fagan. What has Carson done in the second ball game?
Yeah, Carson has a pair of hits. He's 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch.
Hits the ball deep to left field. The left fielder back, looks up. It is off the wall. Rounding second, heading towards third, Joseph Webb. Here comes the throw in. He is safe. An RBI double for Carson Fagan, his third double of the day, and Oak Ridge trails now 12-6, and that just came within about 3 feet from getting out of here.
I thought that ball was going to carry it. It ricocheted off the base of the wall, and Joe Webb was able to score all the way from first. Good wheels from Joe Webb right there. And we got a 12-6 game, 6 runs away from tying and going to extra innings.
We've already had one extra inning game. I'd be okay with that. Actually, we're in the bottom of the 7th. Let's not go. Let's just score and take the lead and win it. As Cam Welch is the batter, he takes a strike on the outer half of the plate. 12-6 the score, so those 2 runs in this previous inning really big. As the Wildcats bat with Carson at second base. Carson visited me in Atlanta. Oh, Cam is hit for the second time in the ball game, or the second time in this game, I think. I think he might have been hit in the first game. So the Wildcats will have runners at first and second, and the batter will be Jaden Cheverton. Yeah, Carson and Kipton Fagan came and visited me in Atlanta at the Braves game last Saturday. I know they had a good time. I was glad to see him, glad to have him. As Jaden steps in for the Wildcats, 12-6 the score. Wildcats have a couple runners on. Still a lot of fight in the Cardinal and Gray. Here's the pitch, hit into right center field. That's a base hit. That's going to score a run. Carson's coming around third. He is in. The Wildcats will have him at now second and third with one out, and it's 12-7. And the Wildcat hit parade hopefully continues with Max DeRiggi. He has 2 hits in the ball game, and he'll step in with a couple runners on. And Wildcats giving a little bit of a fight here at the end of the ball game.
And Max coming to the plate. He's got 2 hits so far. He's 2 for 3, and now we're 5 runs away.
They've got some activity in the Elder bullpen to our right. Max steps in, as Lee Wexler said. He's got 2 hits in the game, takes one low. Who knows? Anything can happen in baseball. You know, the Wildcats do have some firepower. As the Wildcats have runners at second and third. 2 runs in. Pitch. Max hits it to center field. It's another base hit. And another run scores. And the hit parade continues, and the Wildcats now trail it 12-8. And like I said, Lee, those 2 runs in the top of this, or the bottom or the top of this inning, were huge for them, or we would have a 10-8 ball game right now.
Yeah, every run's important, and we're going to get a mound visit here. I don't know if we're going to get a pitching change. Yeah, but the Oak Ridge bats, they're not going away slowly, or they're not going away easy. And this is what you want. Is Oak Ridge is a good team, and it is getting late here. I'm running out of words.
3 hits on the day for Max, and they are going to have a pitching change. We are live at Kingsport Dobyns-Bennett High School. We appreciate you watching our broadcast. It's been a long day of baseball. We started with the Dobyns-Bennett ball game. And we do have a pitching change, and I'm going to put the mic down. Wildcats trail it 12-8. We'll be back to Dobyns-Bennett in a moment. Welcome back once again to Dobyns-Bennett High School. Wildcats have put 3 on the board to make it a little closer. It is now 12-8, and so that means the tying run is in the on-deck circle. The batter here is Jonah Wolf. If Jonah lays down a bunt, that's a base hit. He's a great bunter. Runners on the corners. The pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. On deck for the Wildcats, Warren East. Warren hit a grand slam against Bearden at one point in his career. Jonah needs to get on to bring the tying run to the plate. It's 12-8 here in the 7th inning. Pitch, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, wouldn't that be special if Warren can bat with the bases loaded and hit a grand slam and we play about 14 innings? 2 balls and no strikes. Let's just get Jonah on base here first. Jonah Wolf, Jr., played second base today. Pitch to him. There's a called strike. He was taken all the way, and I don't blame him. We need another base runner.
Yeah, you do, and the tying run obviously on deck. And if you can get the bases loaded right here, but that's an important at bat. You'd bring to be able to bring the tying run. At one point, if you would have thought in the 7th inning you were going to be able to bring the tying run to the plate.
Ball is hit foul, out of play to the right. Warren East is on deck for the Wildcats. Really good day for Carson Fagan. At least 3 doubles to my memory in this doubleheader. 12-8 the score. The Wildcats trailing. Jonah Wolf back in. Pitch to him. Hit off the end of the bat. Foul and an error. I don't know if that was Coach McKeithen who booted that one or Coach Ball. I can't tell. It was off the end of the bat, and I give him an E. Whoever that was, that should have been fielded. Jonah Wolf back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes to him. Runner going. Cut on and miss. Here's the throw down, and that is a stolen base. The Wildcats down to their final out. And the top of the order coming up, it'll be Warren East. And I do see that Parker Free looks like he's going to re-enter the lineup if they get a chance to get him at bat. He has grabbed a helmet. Andy Hudson came in and replaced him, but Warren's got to get on base somehow. Wouldn't that be? Yeah, you're right. Here's the pitch to Warren. He takes a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. 12-8 the score. Parker tied the ball game up in the 7th inning in the Dobbins-Bennett game with a home run. What dramatics would that be? We got to get Warren on base here somehow. There's 2 outs in the 7th. Pitch. Strike on the inside half of the plate, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. We thank you, all of you who have spent your day watching Oak Ridge Baseball on our YouTube channel, or at least listening to that first game. We did have the scoreboard up and such. We just couldn't do the live video. Dobbins-Bennett, as I said, does not allow that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch. Warren takes strike 2. And the Wildcats are perhaps 1 strike away from the conclusion of this second game against the Elder Panthers. Warren needs to be a 2-strike hitter. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. 3 runs in here in the 7th. Pitch to Warren. Hit him. And the bases are loaded, and the tying run comes to the plate in the person of Parker Free, who hit a tying home run in the first ball game. Can he do it again? In back-to-back games, a grand slam would tie it at 12. A lot of pressure on Parker. I would be happy for a gapper right here, especially with Mikey on deck too. Just need to continue the train moving. Bases full of Wildcats. 12-8 the score. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning here at Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett, and here comes a mound visit. And the restaurants are closing as we speak for our late night meal as we have a delay in the game. I don't know if we'll do a post-game show or not because we have been here a while. It's going to be an early start. So why don't you start recapping what has happened in this game statistically while we have a break?
We're going to get a pitching change. I'm just going to run down the Oak Ridge batting order. Looking at Warren East. Warren East is 2 for 3. He's got a pair of singles. He is a walk and a hit by pitch. Parker Free he's going to re-enter the game. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Andy Hudson had a pinch hit opportunity back in the 6th inning and flew out to center. Mikey Teasley is 0 for 3 with a walk. He scored a run back in the first. Joe Webb is 1 for 3 with a walk. He scored 2 runs. Carson Fagan has 3 hits so far. He's got 2 doubles and a single and a hit by pitch, so Carson Fagan has reached all 4 at-bats. Cam Welch is 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Cam Welch has scored 2 runs. Jaden Cheverton is 0 for 3. Not a great day at the plate here in Game 2 for Jaden. He's popped out all 3 at-bats. Max Dorigi, is 3 for 4, has 3 singles. And Jonah Wolf is 1 for 3 with a double, 2 strikeouts, and a sac bunt.
And we'll have another pitcher. It's going to be a lefty. 12-8. The Wildcats have used. They started with Jackson Gary. Wildcats started with Jackson Gary, then Tri Sharp. Both of them gave up the bulk of the runs, then 2 runs off of Dylan Skeen. We've also seen pitch Colton Bankin. He probably had the best inning of the relievers so far. Pitcher doesn't throw hard. Parker with great power, 8 home runs on the year. That leads the Wildcats in that category. The Kennesaw State commit. And he'll bat here. He's re-entering the game. He was taken out. He had caught the whole first game against Dobbins-Bennett, then moved to left field and came out and had to track down a few balls. He had to be exhausted. hit a home run to tie it in the Dobbins-Bennett ball game. A home run ties it here in the Elder ball game. He bats with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Here's the pitch. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Parker, a very patient, very, very, very smart baseball player. He's not going to swing at anything bad. Heart rate always stays the same. Pitch. Ball 2, and it bounces away, and the Wildcats are going to score a run. Wildcats now trail 12-9, and they've got runners at second and third. Parker ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Mikey Teasley is on deck for the Wildcats. 12-9 Elder. Lefty versus righty. Parker stands in. 2 balls, no strikes to him. The pitch, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Lee's predicting extra innings. I just want to win it here. Can't do it on this swing. 3 balls and no strikes. I would assume Parker will be taking it. It's ball 4, and the Wildcats have the bases loaded. A grand slam here by Mikey Teasley, and the Wildcats win. Bases loaded. Mikey Teasley, the batter. He'll be followed by Joseph Webb. Both of those guys have hit a couple home runs this week. Mikey needs to be patient. Bases full of Wildcats. Tying run at third. Here's the pitch. That's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Wildcats have put 4 on the board here in the 7th inning. They trail it 12-9. Teasley back in the pitch. Hit in the air. That's going to do it. It's going to be the center fielder calling for it and making the catch for out number 3. Tried to hit the ball out of the park. Got it in the air, but not deep enough. And the Elder Panthers have defeated the Wildcats by a final score of 12-9. We will not have a post-game show since we will have to be back here at Johnson City for a 10 o'clock ball game. The Wildcats fall in both ball games. 3-2 and 12-9 is your final score. Lee, any final comments?
It was a long day and a rather, I guess I'll kind of say rather sloppy day. I think they doubled their loss total. So obviously not the best day from Oak Ridge baseball. We get to play again tomorrow. Unfortunate result in the first game. A couple catcher's interference calls, which I'm not really too sure about. And then, one disaster of an inning for Oak Ridge kind of cost them this game. So, unfortunately, a bad day, and they'll get right back at it tomorrow, I believe, against Jefferson County. We'll kind of wait and see who they end up playing. So, not the best day, and hopefully we'll see some better baseball tomorrow.
That'll be a 10 o'clock ball game. That about does it. We appreciate Oliver Poggle, Preston Fetters, and Lee Wexler, as I mentioned, and he mentioned. 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be back on the air on our YouTube channel. Final score of the ball game, 12-9. Elder knocks off Oak Ridge, and the Wildcats follow Dobbins-Bennett 3-2 in extra innings. For Lee, Preston, and Oliver, this is David Clary. Until tomorrow, saying so long, everybody.